About a year ago, George's boat burned down. At the time, he was living in it while fixing it up, with the goal of once again traveling the world. For 4 years, he put a lot of effort, sweat, and tears in the hopes of making the boat a safe and reliable ocean crossing machine. He was nearly done, almost ready to continue his journey. In fact, he already had a splash date, had already given away his car to a family in need, and was just finishing up some final touches. But life had other plans. Today, we interviewed George. He will tell his story, explain what went wrong, what happened next, and even give some advice for new sailors.
That's something I could save from the fire.
Just
Universe is deciding things for us. We don't really have to think too much what we're gonna do. Many people, I understand them. They thought they will never make it back to the water. When my boat burned down, that was last year.
Yes.
It's exactly 1.5 years ago. It was in May 23. So in the end of the year, I said I had a really good year. There was only one day who was just fucked.
This is Starry Night, a courageous, plucky sailboat who has only one dream: to sail around the world and have lots of adventures. No, not like that. It's around the world, not through it. But not everything was going to plan. Starry Night was abandoned on the heart for 12 full years. But one day, he found us. My name is Paulo, and this is Caterina. And these are our two very overactive kids. After a crazy amount of work, Starry Night is once again ready to sail the oceans. So sit back, relax, and join us in this adventure. And we will all find out together where Starry Night will end up next. Hey George, how are you?
Good, thanks. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome on my boat.
Thank you very much. It's very nice to be on your boat.
Yeah, but it's not your first time here, no?
No, it isn't. It's not my first time. Most of the times it's been on the hard.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're in the water now.
Yeah. It took me 1 year to get it ready.
That's good timing. Most people never make it into the water.
Yeah, I made it already twice in the water.
Well, anyway, today we are talking with George. He has a story to tell us. He had quite a life. So, George, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, you wanted me to start with my birthday, or is this too early?
Whatever is more interesting for you.
How much time you have?
I have all the time.
Okay, now...
Not much battery.
Let's try go to the biggest etaps. My first ever travel I did when I was 23 years old. I got one of these French small cars, 2 CV cars, 2 chevaux. And I went to India. I went across, started in Italy, then Greece, then Turkey, Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, and then Nepal, and then back to India and Afghanistan, and again Iran. I forgot on the way there. Iran, then Turkey, Italy, France, and back to Switzerland.
All of this in the
in
2
1
chevaux
year.
In that little car?
Yeah.
And you didn't die?
Yeah.
Incredible.
It was, it was a 600 CCM car, and it was my girlfriend and myself, and we had 2 money belts because we didn't have. That was 1976 actually, so there were no credit cards, and the only way to get money is through American Express. But then you had to be in New Delhi or somewhere in a town in Switzerland to cable money across. If not, it was impossible. With no bank, Indian bank, for example. So we had all the cash in 2 belts. And we said, okay, when the first belt is empty, we turn around. That was the plan. So there was always enough money. We made it to Calcutta, and we emptied the first belt, and then we decided to turn around.
Oh, so the plan worked.
The plan worked. We wanted to go a little bit further. We wanted to go to Bhutan, which was at the time very difficult to get visa, but we could manage a visa through our Swiss embassy in New Delhi. because the ambassador had some connections, so we got a visa. But then I got sick in Sri Lanka. I forgot Sri Lanka. We went there. We left the car in Madras and went through Sri Lanka, and I got very sick there, hepatitis.
Oh.
So they stopped us a little bit. We stayed about 2 months in Sri Lanka to cure that. And then we went back up the coast in India, from Madras, and then to Calcutta. And from Calcutta we went inside, Khajuraho, that's where the erotic temples are. And then from there to Pokhara, India.
Okay.
First to Kathmandu and then to Pokhara and then back to India.
How long did it take you?
It takes me exactly 1 year.
It was just 1 year?
Yeah.
Wow.
We did that in 1 year, but we had 2 or 3 months in Goa. We did the full moon parties, the famous full moon parties in the 60s, you know. On the 3 full moon parties we stayed there. And then it was a good time. We had a really good time. I had to fix my chassis broke, so I had to take the car apart and fix it, and then...
Well, it's a French car.
No, don't say that. I mean, we are not allowed to make publicity on an interview.
Since you're from Switzerland, why did you choose a French car?
Because I always had French cars, and they became famous at the time. And the very, very first was a German car, a Beetle, 1951 model. And then I decided when I was 20 years old, we go to Döschwo. And we had a kind of a club there. It was not an official club, it's just a whole bunch of people with the same car. And we did some rallies and we did some meetings. And we meet, even now, every year is a big world meeting in some places in Europe.
Yeah. Do you know what happened to the car? Or...
Oh yeah, when I came back, I fixed it and I sold it.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Needed money when I came back, you know. I
so
was broke.
Both the belts were empty at that time?
Yeah, both belts. Yeah, they were really empty. I mean, we just came home with I think we had the last $100 I changed in Kabul. Took me $100 from Kabul to Switzerland.
At the time, that was a lot of money. But
it was lots of money, and the gas, the petrol costed 10-15 cents there. In Iran, it was nearly free.
Oh, good times.
So we could fill up, and I had 80 liters of capacity with jerry cans and with tanks, and I filled it up, and I close had enough fuel to go back home.
That's very cool. But still, you then went on to boats, which use even less fuel.
Yeah, that's for sure.
When did you start sailing?
I started sailing about maybe 5 years later, like in the 1979. I started sailing, and I liked it a lot. And I did lots of. I did the school, the open water, and for ocean crossing school. And then I wanted to do another trip, but was not really sailing in the beginning. I planned to go to California, take a motorbike and go down the Panamericana to Fireland, Argentina. But then I got off the road, as you say. I went to see a friend. He was sailing in the Caribbean, in Martinique, Fort-de-France. I met him there, and we sailed up to US Virgin Island. And from there I wanted to go back, and then I met an Australian guy. He was looking for crew, and I still needed some miles to be captain. And then I said, why not going to Australia? So I hired up on the boat, and there we left from US Virgin Island, more or less straight to Panama, across the canal. Then we stayed in, I forgot the name, a small island out of Panama for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then Galapagos. And then from Galapagos was 28 days to the Marquis.
That's a big passage.
Yeah, it's a really big passage. And That's when I could, that's something which was really hitting me. I could smell land. Usually you can smell ocean when you go to the ocean from the inland. But I could, from the ocean, I could smell land. One morning I got up and something strange smell, and then it was land. We saw the first birds, you know, after 28 days, and we knew we are very close to the island.
Which kind of boat was it?
It was a big trimaran, like something like 54 foot. And I mean, no GPS, nothing. We just had our sextant. So every morning we do the 10 o'clock sun, and then at lunchtime, the midday sun. So we had already one cross. And sometimes we did an afternoon sun again. So we had another one. And we had our good old Walker log behind.
You're
A Walker log. It's like you have a impeller in the water.
Oh, okay.
And then you have
So you can do that reckoning.
yeah,
Okay.
to know how many miles you sail.
And then you did the sextant work? Did you guys manage to?
We found all the islands anyway, so it was.
Did you find them by smell?
No, not by smell, but by sight. But the only problem are the atolls, because the atolls, the highest point is a coconut tree.
Yeah.
So this you have to be kind of precise. But there was no problems. The Tuamotus are atolls. And then Tahiti and Marquis Island and all these islands are volcanic islands. And some have coral reef and some just go straight up.
And you managed to find them just with the old
With,
tools?
yeah,
No
I mean,
chart plotter, no GPS, no nothing?
I mean, a sextant was already a modern stuff. When you think what they did at the time, like the Maoris, they had a water bucket and they had a tube, and they was mirroring the stars in the water. That's how they navigated. So with the sextant, we were already real good. It's about the same step from the water bucket to the sextant as it is from the sextant to the GPS.
Do you use a chart plotter today?
No, not anymore. I still have a sextant. I'm sure if I stay long enough, I will start taking sights again, just for fun, calculating.
But just for fun. So now a chart plotter is better.
Yeah, chart, for sure. I mean, you look on your phone, you know where you are, you know. Like when we were with the chart, with the sextant, you never say, I'm here. You say, I'm here. That's the closest you can go. You can never say, now with the GPS, you say, I'm here. You see this little dot here, that's where we are. But with the sextant, you have to take your flat hand, and then you can say, that's where we probably are. And usually we were there, but you know, when you go 28 days across, it doesn't really matter where you are. You know, you just get there someday.
You will hit land at some point.
So if you do some bad calculation, wrong error, next day they're corrected again.
Makes sense. And then you bought your own boat, or
no? Then after that, I was traveling from across the Pacific to Australia on different boats. I left the catamaran in Marquis Island, and then I was on a big French boat. We did some charter there.
Sailboat, or
this was a motorboat, yeah. And then I changed back to a sailing boat to Australia. And then from Australia I went to New Zealand, mainly the South Island. I did all the trekking. I crossed it a couple of times by walk. I went Rootburn, Milford, Greenstone. These are tracks nowadays. You have to make a reservation to go walking there. But when I was there, you just went. You have huts on the road, and the first in get the best bed, and the last coming sleeps on the floor. And then you walk every day a few kilometers, and you get from one track to the other.
That's very cool.
We started up in Queenstown, And then we came back to Queenstown. And then like on the route, on the Greenstone track, we saw 2 people, the whole track. And the other ones, like the Milford, is crowded. And the Rootburn, yeah, there were a few people. But when we were for overnight in the hut, maybe between 10 and 25 people, no more. But nowadays it's really, you need to take your number like in the post office and then it's your turn.
Okay, cool.
So you will get to the huts and then you know you have a bed.
So you are not one to stay in one place. You are always going places, no matter if it's on a car, on a boat, by foot.
Anything is good.
When did you get to the point of your life that you moved aboard a ship where you start living in
I got early retirement because I was a little bit sick and tired of living and working.
Oh, you mean that working until you die was not your plan?
No, that was definitely not my plan, you know. I had my 3 kids, lovely kids. My daughter is now also, she just bought a sailing boat with her boyfriend about 1 week ago, actually. And she's sailing now in Greece. She will come and join me also for a trip, maybe from Madeira or from Capo Verde, from Tenerife to Capo Verde. I don't know yet. We don't know yet. As soon as she has time, she's coming.
So you managed to give her the love for sailing as well?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you are responsible
for
that addiction now.
I have one of my sons, he lives in Mexico. He did some traveling in South America for about at least 1 year. And then he ended up in Mexico and he got a few good friends there. And now he moved to Mexico and is working there, doing some real estate. And the oldest son, he's in Switzerland with family, and I have 2 grandchilds now.
So now you are free to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
cool.
I was always free, but you just have to be around.
Yeah,
at least for Christmas and for birthdays, you know, these old-fashioned traditions, you know.
Yeah, it makes sense. And so then you got your last boat, not this one.
Yeah, my first boat, that was a little bit a disaster.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a big disaster. I bought my first boat, a steel boat in Germany. And I decided to renovate it completely. And it's a steel boat which was badly maintained. And there was one problem after the other. And I kept on going and going instead of just pulling the emergency button and stop.
And you did that where?
I did that. I bought the boat in Lübeck, North Germany. And then I worked nearly 14, 15 hours a day and for 2 years. And in North Germany, it's bloody cold in the winter. It's humid. I stayed on the boat. I slept with -2 degrees on the boat.
Ooh.
And then I got sick because of the cold and the humidity. And I mean, you needed 4 pairs of pants, you know, but you still got cold because it's so humid up there. And then I decided to stop everything and I put everything inside the boat. We just got it to run. We did an anchor winch, finished the anchor winch, and we didn't have any self-steering or autopilot, nothing on it. We just left from Lübeck to go to Portugal. And then for 2 or 3 years, I was out of order. I couldn't walk anymore. I was really in bad shape.
Because of the work you were doing for 2 years?
I went to the doctors, but they couldn't tell me what's wrong. But I mean, they never can tell you anyway. They just guess and say, you maybe have that, just take a little bit of these pills. And if it doesn't work, you come back and I give you another one.
Well, I know what was wrong. You were having boat problems.
Probably.
Boat problems.
Probably. Anyway, I did some research myself and I got some supplementary for food supplementaries. And then I got better and better and better. And since now 2, 3 years, I work again. I wanted to finish my boat last year. It was just something like 5 days after my birthday, I did some welding, and that was the big disaster happened.
How long have you been working in Portugal on that boat?
Oh, not very long, because for 2 or 3 years I was out of order.
Oh, okay.
And then I worked maybe one.
But you were living on the boat.
I was living on the boat. No, I was living for 2.5 years on a friend's place in Lumiar, in a suburb of Lisbon.
Lisbon, yeah.
And then when I could work again, I went back to the boat. That was maybe 3 years ago. I don't really remember all the dates anymore.
Yeah, that's when we met. We met
that's
in the
when we
heart.
met the first time. Yeah,
I was fixing my boat. You were fixing yours.
Yeah.
I always saw you working a lot. You were drinking more than working, but
I was only drinking when you were drinking. So.
It's because I didn't want to work, and
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
But, yeah, I think I might just update whoever's listening. I fixed up my boat, and George was fixing his boat as well. It was almost ready, I remember, and I went in the water, and then a couple of months later, I came back to visit you, and I find you in front of your boat. And what was happening?
Yeah, I mean that's always the. I was just doing some welding in the cockpit, so I took everything out inside. It was not true welding; it was just putting something on, and I had somebody inside the boat to watch. Was perfect. And then that friend, he went out to, I don't remember what, he went to go and get some beers or whatever. And I kept on working, and then I just saw a small hole on the cockpit, on the seat. Very, very small. I mean, not bigger than, what was it, 2 by 2 millimeters, 2 by 2 millimeters. Really nothing. I just want to go across. And then some of the steel dropped inside, and it started to burn. And suddenly I heard some noise, and I looked up, and the whole bloody fire came out of the cockpit already.
So when you saw, it was already too late?
When I saw it, it was already much too late. I called for help, and everybody came with water hoses and with fire extinguisher, but nothing helped. And then the fire brigade came. They had 4 trucks, about 17 or 18 firefighters, ambulance, everybody was here. And it took them at least, I don't remember exactly, I can't really tell the time it took. It was about maybe a half an hour or 45 minutes they took to calm down the fire or to put it out. And the boat inside was completely burned out.
And everything you owned was inside the boat?
Everything I had was inside the boat. And actually the boat I paid with my pension fund, with a part of my pension fund. So up in smoke, my pension, no more pension.
Yeah.
And then
your documents as well?
No, the documents we could save. You know, they were in a plastic folder. It was melted, but it was not burned.
Documents were okay.
Yeah.
And what about the alcohol? Did you manage to save any of those?
I mean, that's the only thing which I could find was in the table, in the saloon table. Underneath, the whiskey and everything was still there. So
so it's not a total loss.
Yeah, we didn't have a total loss. So finally,
at that time, you spent a lot of money and a lot of time on that boat. What were you thinking when it happened? What was your plan at the time?
I mean, I think 2 days later, when I started to realize what happened, I went around the boatyard and I looked for boats which were for sale.
Okay, so never give up.
Never give up. And there was one boat just across from mine. So I went up there and talked to the guy and looked at it, but it was not really my type of boat. It was a plastic boat, a Tupperware, and I would like to have a steel boat.
Let's talk about that. What's your type of boat? What's your type of boat?
My type of boat is
plastic, so I think fiberglass is...
It's nothing, no. It has to be a steel boat for me.
Okay, why?
Because everybody makes error. And sooner or later, one day you touch somewhere, ground. Don't tell me that there are captains or any skippers around, they never touched ground.
Yeah.
I even managed to touch ground when I came down from Germany, in Holland. Out of Holland, it's quite shallow. And that's things should never happen. I didn't do updating my charts, and they move a lot. Sand is moving often in Holland up there. So I just I could feel sand, and then I just turned around without doing an official tack. I just turned, and then we did the tack. First
So-
turning, the tacking.
It's a safety thing in your opinion. The steel boat
The
is
steel
stronger
boat,
than-
yeah.
Okay. And
Because-
you feel okay welding and working on steel. So
Yeah. It's everybody told me how to weld, but nobody told me what not to do. But now I know what you shouldn't do.
Yes.
At least it's always learning by doing. Whatever you do, learning by doing, it's always cost you something.
True. This one was expensive.
Not a whole boat, But maybe 2 or 3 months later. Actually, first I have to tell I had some really good friends in Portugal, in the marina. There was one guy, he came, listen, if you need, I have a camper van.
Oh, that was nice of him.
That was you.
I was not going to tell it.
And 2 days later, he came with his camper van, and I had a place to stay.
Yeah, it's always nice to have friends.
Yeah. And
So you were looking at the boat that was in front of yours, but it was not your kind of
It
boat.
was too small
What did you
of a-
say? Plastic?
Tupperware.
Tupperware.
I don't want to offend. I don't want to offend anybody.
You already
it's just,
did. It's too late. It's too late.
No.
You might as well just say it.
It's my opinion, and my opinion is not very important. It's just the way I see things,
So no Tupperwares for you.
No,
My boat is a Tupperware. Well,
but it's an older Tupperware. The
yeah,
old
my
ones are
Tupperware is
much better.
very thick Tupperware.
Yeah.
They say it's important when it's thick.
That's. I would go for that also. But like these new modern boats, they're I think, much too weak.
With the foam core and
Yeah.
just a little bit of glass on the
Yeah.
inside and the outside.
A friend of mine, he has one of the most sold boats. I don't want to put any names here.
You
but
can, nobody cares.
No, I don't want to name any brands, but he told me each time he tacks with his boat and it's a little bit of wind, he has to go down and close all the lockers because they're all open because the whole boat is bloody moving.
Ooh. Yeah, they don't make them as they used to.
No, I
But
mean,
they're
you don't
fast
have
enough.
the sandwich and whatever double, and you get up to 2.5 to 3 centimeters of body.
Yeah,
That's gone,
now they hang the rudder on a post and they don't have any skegs. And
Yeah.
Have you seen lately they are using the rigging? It's so small. It's like a small wire on
Yeah.
these new boats.
I mean,
They
now
cut
you
costs everywhere. So
you could now rig a boat with Dyneema, with the rope.
yeah, you could.
But there are the first guys they started to doing. You get some problems with the ultraviolet. They can break after a few years. They break the ropes. They're not resistant of
To the UV light.
yeah.
And also, I think that something that you can cut with a knife, I don't know if it's good for rigging. Because
Yeah,
maybe a knife just flies away or something, and because when you have wire under tension, it just takes a cut to snap it. But well,
I don't know. I
for
mean,
racing, I guess, and for coastal cruising, I think it's good. But for what you
as
do,
long as you can swim to ashore, you can.
whatever
For me,
works.
I think you can take it. But if you can swim to the shore, you should take something a little bit more solid.
yeah, I think we pissed off enough people now. Maybe we move on.
So anyway, then when my boat burnt down and I started to look around a little bit, and I went home to Switzerland to see my family, to get a little bit cleared out in my head. And I looked up lots of ads and looked up boats I could maybe buy. And then I had a friend. I met him here in the boatyard in Portugal, a French guy. He had a nice boat and he wanted to stop sailing. And he called me and they said, listen, you know my boat? I would like to sell it. I don't really go sailing anymore. It was 1 year now. It's in the marina and I don't use it. I have no time anymore. If you want to have it, I make you a good price. And they said, what is the good price? And they gave me a number and I said, okay, I come and have a look at it. I come and have a look at it and then, I got a plane ticket from Lisbon to Barcelona.
So the boat was not in Portugal?
No, it was in France, inside of France, in Port-le-Cat. So I took the plane from Lisbon to Barcelona. And just before I took the flight, my return flight got cancelled. So I said, what do I do? So I said, the worst, I buy the boat and sail back. So I went up there and looked at the boat. We went out a couple of times and we did some little repairs. And then I bought the boat and got my son in and we sailed off from Le Cat towards Palma de Mallorca and stopped a little bit there in Port Suller for a few days. Did some work on the boat, some modifications with things I didn't really like that they were. And then I had actually a nice intermezzo. There was a French guy. He drove in the back of my boat. I don't know how he managed. So I was not on the boat. I got a scratch and I lost my swimming leather. But he didn't have any more balcony in the front. He didn't have any more lights. And he had a Tupperware boat. And my steel boat, just some spray. And it was good.
And there was this boat.
There was this boat, the one I just bought, yeah.
Not a Tupperware.
Now the Tupperware, the steel boat.
It's a steel boat.
So when I bought the new boat, my daughter told me I should name it Phoenix. Like the bird coming out of the ash, you know, the rebirth out of the ash. And then I said, oh, yeah, that's a good thing. I think I will name it Phoenix, the boat. So I went to France, was in my boat, in the new boat, and then I looked up the name Garuda, what that means. So I found out that Garuda is in the mythology of Hindus. It's the same thing as Phoenix with the Greek mythology.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, more signs that I had to buy this boat you can't have. First, they cancel my return flight. Then the boat has already the name I want to name it, except it's another mythology, but it's in Garuda. You can look it up on Wikipedia. You find it says Phoenix, Garuda, the bird coming out of the fire.
That's incredible.
So, I mean, that's destiny.
Yeah. Sometimes life just...
Universe is deciding things for us. We don't really have to think too much what we're going to do.
That's true. And there's another thing. I got to sail this boat for a little bit with you, and she sails really nice.
You came to give me a hand from Sesimbra up to Lisbon.
Yeah, we had really bad wind. There was good weather, but bad wind. The boat was going really nice upwind.
Yeah, it was a good trip, yeah. We did, I don't know, we left at 11 and we arrived here at 9.
Yeah, it was
I remember
good.
It was already night.
And it's always going to be, unless you leave like at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, it's a few miles.
Yeah, and it was in October, no?
Yeah.
So the days are already...
When you're getting back here.
Yeah.
And about the boat that burned down, did you manage to salvage things that you put on this boat? What happened there?
Yeah.
You did put both boats in the same yard, so you could...
Yeah, I could work on both boats. And but, you know, it's quite difficult. I think it's just a human behavior you think you have to get everything and stuff. And in the beginning, I had some, not problems, but it was not easy to go on this boat. I was with that new boat, old new boat in the marina. And I wanted to work on this one, but I still had to work on the old one. And I needed some money. I had to take out what I can take out and sell it. I had a few pieces, they were still good, like the wind vane I could take on this boat. The stove was covered because I didn't use the stove, and it was a brand new stove.
Yeah, Force
a
10.
Force 10, yeah. I could sell it. And then, I took the winches off, I took everything off, and many of these parts I gave away. Somebody needed it. I thought it's better than keep it around and you never sell it. So now I found a very good friend, Luis. He came to help me one day because he was here also on the day of the fire. And now I've been waiting. That's a little bit Portugal. I don't want to say bad things about Portuguese.
You can, nobody cares.
Because the company who should cut the boat and put it into the scrap, they told me they're coming on the 1st of May. So they're still not...
Yeah, welcome to Portugal.
Yeah, so they're still not here. So finally I said, if I wait, I'm getting too old to go sailing.
And you just wanted to go sailing.
Yeah, and many people, I understand them, they thought they will never make it back to the water. You know, they thought I'm one of these sailors start to work and never finishes.
There are a lot of those.
There are lots of those. I know a few of them, even here. And they start the project and they never finish the project. And one day it's too late to...
And even if they do, then there's another little project and another little project.
Yeah, but
they stay there forever.
Yeah, but you know, I think it's not even a problem because these people, they do something they like to do.
That's
I
true.
think they wouldn't do it if they wouldn't have pleasure to do it. I mean, they're people, they like to construct, they like to do things. It's like a hobby.
But you can do that in an anchorage in the BVIs. You don't need to do it on...
Yeah, but that's the way you see it. But
That's
other
true.
people, they see it different. And
Yeah, but
I see
I'm
it
correct,
different.
and they are wrong.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
Right, we pissed everybody off, so we might as well keep going.
No, I think it's just the way you see things. And I try to respect all these kind of philosophies, and it's not mine, but that doesn't mean it's wrong.
That's where you are much wiser than me. I keep telling people,
Yeah,
just
but
fix it and go into the water.
I still have gray hairs. You don't have any more.
My hair is gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
Well, and so the boat burnt down. Now you have a new boat. You're happy with the new boat. So life is good. You're going sailing.
Yeah.
What are your plans for the future?
I mean, the plan was having no plan.
That's the best plan.
No, my plan was to go first to Madeira, then Tenerife, then Capo Verde, and then from Capo Verde to Brazil. I really would like to go to Brazil because when I was sailing, you can look behind you. There is a book, just the one. Can you give it down?
What color is it?
It's a book, the burned one, the one who is lying down, the flat one.
Yes.
So when I was sailing the first time, that's something I could save from the fire. So there I met the Brazilian guy, Elio Setti Jr., and we sailed a lot together and we did lots of things, and he wrote the book. And I mean the book for sure, because we were really like two brothers. People always thought...
Can you show it to the camera, maybe?
Yeah.
So if people want to find it.
Is it this one?
It's in Portuguese.
It's in Portuguese, yeah.
Okay.
And there is no traduction.
I think Google can translate it.
Yeah, Google can, but you need some time. So I wanted to learn Portuguese so I can read it, but I still can't really talk Portuguese.
Nobody can, not even Portuguese people.
Anyway, so unfortunately, my friend, he died very early, 49 years old. Yeah. On my honeymoon, when I got married, I went to see him. We've traveled 4 weeks across Brazil, and we started up in Sao Paulo on his place, and then a few years afterwards, I had my kids and family, and one day I looked it up on the internet, and I saw all this publicity for his book, and I started to find out. I wanted to find his address, and he was not here anymore. And then suddenly I saw in memory of, and then I said, oh. Not good news. And I got in contact with the editor, but they couldn't give me more information because finally it was his brother who finished the book. I tried to get in contact with them, but they never answered. And one day I was here in the pub and I said, let's go to the internet and check. And then I met the guy on the internet. He is the president of a kind of a sailing club, whatever, in São Paulo. And he was really pleased that he met finally somebody who knew Elio. So they invited me to come there to Brazil because they created Elio Setti Foundation. His sailing boat is still running. Somebody bought it and restored it. And they would like to make an interview.
Oh, okay. Now makes sense. Now you're famous. You're practically famous.
I'm practicing now, and they want to make a new edition with some more information. And that's why I really would like to go to São Paulo to meet these people.
So you're sailing there?
Yeah, I will sail there. Yeah, with
so it boat. Might take you 5 months or 5 years. It doesn't matter.
He just sent me an email about 2 months ago. I said, listen, I haven't heard from you. Where are you? We're still waiting. So now I can send him an email.
Oh, look, we have issues.
So I didn't know if my VHF still works.
It does work.
It does work. I can't just switch it off. Huh?
I'm sorry, guys, for the interruption.
But
we're in a sailboat. This is real life.
I wanted to switch it off, but Portuguese you can't switch off. They keep on talking like me.
Well, so so you're going to start sailing coastal until the point of Portugal, and then do a big leap to Madeira.
Yeah. Now I have
Cape Verde and Brazil.
I have some nice crew. Margot. She's the daughter of a good friend of mine.
So you're teaching sailing as well?
Yeah, teaching a little bit sailing. She would like to go sailing. I don't know if it's crazy. I mean, it's her choice. It's not my choice. So we will... the idea is to bring her at least to Madeira, maybe to Tenerife, and then she would like to go to South America to travel. She has been already traveling. It's the same philosophy a little bit as mine, but she's much younger. She has everything.
So she can still make the mistakes. She can still burn her own boat.
And she can learn out of my mistakes. And it will be fun to teach her a little bit and let her know a few things about sailing and the life on a sailing boat. So the first stop will be down in Portimao. We will meet a Swedish boat, some friends from Sweden, and we will see what's happened. Maybe 1 or 2 beach parties. You know, I still have this party life in my blood from the Goa parties, the full moon parties. So now I can make parties. I don't need a full moon.
Well, you can make a party every day.
We can make that every day, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any advice you want to give to people that have never sailed or that are just starting? What would you say to them?
That's... I mean, you need a basic... You need somebody who knows how to sail.
Okay.
You need to know that the sailing boat, you don't drive it like a car.
I tried.
You tried, yeah. And you-
I hit, 2 boats getting into the marina?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't drive it like a car.
I mean, that's what I always say. The first thing, you don't drive it like a car. So Paolo wouldn't listening to me, and
Yeah, can I tell this story?
yeah, for sure.
So I never sailed a boat before, and I fixed it up first, and I put it in the water, and I knew George, so I asked him for help, just to let me know how it works, how to sail, not really sail, but how to maneuver a boat. So I get into the marina, and he's like, "You got this." And are you sure? Yeah, you got this. So I go into the marina, but the thing is, the boat when it starts turning from the back, not the middle. So as I'm approaching the spot where I want to go in, I muck it up. I'm bloody idiot. And I go back, I try to go back in, I hit like 2 boats, and I was like, this is impossible. Nobody can do this. So George was like, just stand back, you idiot. He comes back really slowly. He does like a U-turn on the whole marina. He puts it in like an inch precision. And I was like, oh. But it was very good. It was very nice. Yeah, so
Yeah, well,
I listened in the end,
yeah.
and I let you do it.
That's what I say. It's learning by doing. I mean, for anything, it's okay. Certain things you shouldn't learn by doing, but most of it in our life you can learn by doing. I mean, you told me once you nearly lost your fingers on the anchor winch.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's, if you do learning by doing with this, that's what I talk to Marco now, my new crew. For me, it's the most important is security. And you really have to listen to the person with experience. And the biggest problem, you on a boat, you don't make coffee like you do it in an apartment. When you pour your hot coffee, you put the cup in the sink, and then you pour. When something happens, it goes into the sink and it doesn't go onto your clothes. When you go outside certain conditions, you always put up your life vest. Like we are ready, we have one side is her life vest and the other side is mine. So it has to be automatically, you just put it on. Every night watches, you have it on. And then you have your fixed points, you can tie you up when you have to go. And never go on the ship without having somebody in the cockpit. Okay, again, when there is flat calm and there's nothing. But still, if you're not used or if you learn, you should be just on the safe side.
So your advice would be safety first?
Safety first. And I mean, there are sailors like Taberley, they went overboard. It can happen to anybody.
Just this week, it happened. It happened again at the race. They haven't found him yet.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
It happens. It's just
even with experienced people. These are racers. So
but if you can avoid lots of stuff, if you do safety first, and people often come to me and said, my boat is, I did the crossing in 10 days, took you 12 days. Then I said, yeah, because I have a steel boat and I had 2 days more of pleasure sailing. Because the idea for us is go sailing. It's not to go racing from A to B.
That's a good point. A good point. So the longer you're in the water, the happier you are.
We had 2 days more of pleasure sailing.
That makes sense.
And this competition all the time, who is the best, who is the strongest, who is the biggest, who is the tallest, whatever.
If 2 boats are going in the same water, in the same direction, it's a race. It's always a race.
Yeah, but not for me.
What about advice for people who want to restore their own boat? Maybe they don't have the money to buy a new boat or...
Like me.
Like us.
Yeah, like us. Yeah.
I'm a cheapskate. I get everything cheap. What could you tell them?
Yeah, it's, again, learning things, learning about paint and learning about woodwork, learning about electricity and get advice, ask friends, they can help you. And as soon as you go to I don't want to be bad spoken again. As soon as you go in a marine shop, everything is just double the price.
Oh yeah.
And
Double,
90
triple, four times.
triple the
Jeez.
price, whatever. As soon as you go to normal standard industrial,
Like paint, for instance.
like paint,
You can have the same industrial paint. It will cost you 100. If it says boat in it or marine in it, it's going to be 400.
yeah, that's right.
So you need to learn what materials you can use. So you use
like I put on a water maker, because everybody tells me now to get water sometimes it's not easy.
It's very difficult. We've been in the Med now, and there's no water basically anywhere. You have to go in the marina, and I even had a marina say that I could only fill the boat up if I stayed for at least a week. Otherwise, they would not give me water. It's very
amazing.
difficult
It's
now.
crazy.
Well, it's they like money. They like it. So
Yeah, if I have it, I spend it also. But no, I put in a water maker. So I didn't get one of these marina water makers. I got an industrial water maker.
oh, cool.
So I get all the parts. There are just standard parts. I can buy them all over the world. If I know what I need, I just look it up, and I can find even the manufacturer who did the high pressure pump. I can buy a high pressure pump for
And
the
replace.
price of an industrial whatever price, and not of a marina or
So that's good advice.
or a
Get
boat
stuff you can
shop.
replace yourself easily.
like when I came here, it just took me maybe a month or two to find out where all the companies are. They sell paint, they sell steel. I found a big company. They do even customizing some steel plates. You need a rectangular or you need a U shape. They put it in the machine, they cut it, and it's not cheap, but it's not expensive either. You just get what you need. You pay for the kilo, and then you pay maybe a few euros for the work.
For that to work, you have to make the work, do the work yourself. You cannot ask the guys in the yard or,
Yeah, but
if
as
you
soon
do,
as
it's going to be much more expensive.
as soon as you ask in the yard,
You're fucked.
like a welder here, it's maybe 30, 40 euros. I don't know exactly, but I did welding myself.
Yeah, that was expensive though.
That was a bloody expensive welding.
That one was expensive.
Yeah. And then they quadruple the price, Instead of
Yeah, of
having
course.
30, you pay 120 euro
Yeah.
if you do it in the marina.
So do the work yourself, learn the systems. What is something that you have aboard that is the most important thing, the most important system that you wouldn't go sail without?
The crew.
The crew. We
No,
are different there. I like to sail solo.
yeah.
Yeah, leave the wife and kids alone. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I can sail solo. The boat is equipped to solo drive sailing. I have a automatic pilot, hydraulic, and then I have a wind vane.
Well, automatic pilot and wind vane, that's crew.
Yeah,
That's basically
and then
crew.
I can even put the small tiller pilot, automatic pilot on my wind vane. So I have
In
three
case something-
crew members. They just use power, and they don't drink beer.
Yeah, and they don't drink beer. That's an.
No, I think for now I would say the water maker would be one of the key equipment I would like to have on a boat.
If you're going long distances.
If you go long distance, then I took off my roller furling,
Yeah.
and I just put up. I have a cutter rig, and I put up the sail I need.
So now you have hank sails.
Yeah, I just have hang sails.
Is that? You think that's better than the roller
I mean,
furling?
the sails, they live longer.
Okay.
Because when you reduce sail area by rolling it in, the sail is not in in the
it's not a good
shape it should be.
No, it's not.
So you kill the sails. Okay, they stay maybe instead of keeping them 5, 6, 7 years, you keep them only 2 years.
So now you have different sails that you put up depending on the on the weather.
Yeah, on the weather. So I I have a system like I have the Genoa, and I just put it down, and I hook the other sail up on top of it like a solent, and pull it up, and then I have a smaller sail. And if it's too much, I just pull it down again, and then I have on the cutter, I have a trinket, we call it in French a trinket, a kind of a storm sail, very strong sail with the auto tacking system, with the auto tacking boom, and I pull that up.
Okay.
And I just have to secure the other sails.
That makes sense. So simplicity in this case. It's never going to go wrong.
It's easy. The only thing when you tack, I mean, you have the baby stay, which could be in the way, but I mean...
It's not that bad.
Because you don't roll it in and then you put it on the other side. You just have to tack as we used to do it when
there were no roller
when there were no roller sails, you know.
Very well. Is there anything else you would like to say to the people listening?
Yeah, ask me questions.
Sure. I'm in contact with George, so if you have any questions, just put them down in the comments and I'll ask him.
Yeah.
And maybe he responds, maybe he doesn't.
I will, because I really like people, they are interested in what you're doing. I support that. And
that's where you and I are different, Egren. I hate people. I can't stand them.
So when I can help, I help. So actually, what I would like to say, you know, when my boat burned down, that was last year.
Yes.
It's exactly 1.5 years ago. It was in May 23. So in the end of the year, I said I had a really good year. There was only one day who was just fucked. But all the other days were good. That's a little bit the philosophy of life. And if something happened, don't look back, just look forward.
That's good advice for all of us. Well, George, thank you so much. I hope you guys liked it, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. Cheers.